this should be working now. Hi guys, it's me again. Some of you may have not seen my face before. I made a video about 4 months ago with regards to topical steroid withdrawal. I did just try and upload one to YouTube, but it didn't go so well, so I'm just doing another one again from my computer and then I'm going to upload it. Anyways, I'm now at month 15, and in my previous video I left my email address for you guys to contact me if you had any questions or if you just wanted to talk, and so many of you did, and I'm really glad that you did, that you felt comfortable enough to talk to me about it, because I know this can be very scary and also obviously a very private thing. So thank you for contacting me. It really does make me happy to be able to help in any way that I can. Basically, a lot of you were asking me sort of the same sort of questions, which is absolutely fine, but I thought maybe I should make another video just to try and answer some of those questions for like a broader audience, if you like. You asked me, I've had a lot of questions about sort of what it's been like step by step through withdrawal, like what to expect in the different months and stuff. So I thought I'd talk you through that a little bit. I'll try and be concise. Okay, so months 1 to 4, well, they were the worst for me. Obviously you probably know by now to expect a lot of weeping, a lot of redness, itchiness, heat in the skin. It'll be literally like you're radiating heat for a while, unfortunately. You may feel like the weeping is that bad that it's an infection. I would say 9 times out of 10 it's actually not an infection, and it just is the severity of the TSW, the severity of the weeping is not usually due to an infection. But if you are really worried, then do go to the doctors and get them to check it out, because obviously you don't want to be sat around with a staph infection or anything like that, because it's going to delay the healing. I did that myself during sort of month 3, I believe it was, and the doctors did actually give me 3 consecutive courses of antibiotics, which did seem to help at first, but then after about, I don't know, 4 or so days, it just went back to the way it was before, and that's when I just had to deal with the reality that this is this is TSW, this is one of the things that I'm just going to have to fight my way through to get through this. But yeah, if you are really concerned, do go to the doctors and get yourself checked out. Weeping, another thing that you're going to have to deal with, sort of as a a consequence of the weeping and such, is a real lack of sleep. I had maybe about 3 or 4 hours solid sleep a night for 4 months, and that was it. The rest of the time I was just awake and uncomfortable and in pain and such. Not wanting to scare you, but just trying to be honest about my experience. I've really, people have been asking me, how did I deal with that? What did I do to sort of get through it? Was there anything specific? Not really. I mean, everybody's different. I would recommend simple things like keeping your sheets clean, your bedding clean, your pyjamas, generally your environment as clean as possible, sort of trying to eliminate anything that you know to be an irritant, anything that you know to aggravate your skin. Dust is a big one for me. Things like that. Also short, cool baths rather than hot baths or hot showers. Literally 5 to 10 minutes in the bath. Preferably with some natural sea salt in there as well, because obviously that's a natural germ killer, antibacterial thing with no negative side effects. You can look up online how, if you're worried about sort of measurements, how much salt to put into a bath, that sort of thing. We'll just say natural sea salt, not table salt or anything like that, because that's full of anti-caking agents which can be irritating to the skin, so stick to that. Also limit exposure to intense sunlight and intense heat. if you can. I used to sit out in the sun thinking that it might help to dry out the skin, to dry out the weeping, but it only actually made it worse, unfortunately. I mean, I did have a lady, bless her, who emailed me from the southernmost part of North America, where it's constantly hot virtually. So, for some it may be unavoidable, but for those who can get away from that, I would. Okay, so that's months 1 to 4. Months 5 to 8, that's sort of where I reached my plateau as such, where the weeping had more or less stopped, but what I was still dealing with was the itchiness and the redness in the skin. I was tearing my skin apart on a daily basis, even though it wasn't weeping anymore, thankfully. Another thing in relation to that, okay, I'll talk about quickly is moisturizer withdrawal. I did talk about it briefly in my previous video, and I've had a lot of questions with regards to that. When I was sort of in, I think it was quite late actually, in month 8, and I was sick of seeing no change really, for the past 3 months. A friend of mine recommended to me to stop using moisturizers, because it sort of interferes with your body's internal mechanism that produces its own oils. We weren't born with a bottle of moisturizer in our hands. It shouldn't be something that we have to deal with. I used to have to moisturize 6 or so times a day, and that was for longer than I can remember. And yeah, that can actually make it a lot worse. So when I was ready, when the weeping had stopped so much and I wasn't in as intense pain, I did stop using moisturizers. I stopped first of all on my legs just to see how it would do, and then I sort of moved to my body, into my face and my neck, which were the scary areas. Yeah, at first, for the first few weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, it was very uncomfortable. I couldn't open my mouth wide enough to eat, and when I first woke up in the mornings, I'd have to bathe first and then moisturize. No, not then moisturize, I'd have to bathe first, sorry, to get rid of some of the initial discomfort, and then I would try and eat. Okay, no moisturizer, sorry about that. I get stuck in my routine. Yeah, and then I couldn't move my neck so much, and my arms, they were sore and they were dry, and there was a lot of flaking and stuff for the first few weeks, which can be very daunting, to put yourself through more pain than you've already been through. But I stuck it out, and I would say within about 4-5 weeks, I could actually start feeling the difference in my skin. It was softer, it was more supple, I didn't have trouble moving, there was no more flaking on my legs, and on the backs of my legs there was no cracking or anything like that. And then just, keep going. I kept going with that, and it just got better and better, and the redness goes down, the heat in the skin really goes down, the itching goes down, because I used to find that as soon as I got out of a bath and I put my moisturizers on and such, I would just have a period of real intense itching. So yeah, I didn't really have to deal with that anymore, which was nice. And how many months into moisturizer withdrawal am I now? I'm about 6-7 months without moisturizers, and it's good. My arms are comfortable, my neck and my back and my legs are soft. I'm wearing a dress today. So I never used to be able to get my legs out before or anything like that, and it's nice to just be able to get out of the shower and just get dressed and go, really. It's like being a normal person, which is something I really used to envy, I suppose, in other people. So moisturizer withdrawal I would recommend, but not everybody has to do it, okay, because some people before they were using steroids didn't really have any issues at all, whereas I've always had dry skin, really, and since I was a baby. My parents used to smother me in greasy things and stuff to help my skin, so it's always been a problem for me. So I knew that I had to find a way of getting past that, and moisturiser withdrawal for me was the solution. Okay, so do look it up. There's a lot of information available. People write very comprehensive blogs which were invaluable to me when I was going through it, and I was scared and I wanted more information and whatnot. So do look it up online. Then also another thing during those sort of months, from month 4 onwards, I would say, something that you might deal with is sort of the reverse of what you've had to deal with before. Whereas you were dealing with a lack of sleep, you will now, or you may, experience just exhaustion, absolute exhaustion. I mean, I was sleeping for I don't know, maybe 14 to 18 hours a day, literally, no exaggeration. And that was all at the wrong time as well. I was completely nocturnal. I was waking up at about 11 p.m. at night and eating breakfast then, and then going back to sleep again at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and sleeping again all the way through until night time. So I didn't see the sunlight for a very long time. And that I found is called adrenal fatigue syndrome. Okay, I'll explain a little bit about that from my understanding, just from what I've read. Okay, so don't take this as gospel. But adrenal fatigue syndrome is basically aggravated by the use of corticosteroids, the steroid creams that we've been rubbing on our skin for years. And cortisol, which is present in the steroids, is a hormone. Okay, and rubbing these steroids on our skin for years has led to a higher level of cortisol in the blood, which can in effect shut down, or rather suppress, adrenal function, which is why it's also known as adrenal suppression. And then when you come off of the steroids and you remove that excess or artificial supply of cortisol to your body, your adrenal glands have a hard time catching up. So there's a real lag in between, and it causes just a real unshakable tiredness, which I hear can only really be gotten through with time. Time's the only healer for that, really. You can take supplements and things like that to stimulate adrenal function, but it did just take quite a while for that. I mean, now I have a completely normal sleeping pattern, thankfully. But yeah, do look up adrenal fatigue syndrome if you are finding that you're extremely tired and you want more information about it. Okay. So I talked about moisturiser withdrawal. Also, I suppose supplements, something that's always that I'm looking for. I'm always looking for alternatives to Western medicine, because they got me into the mess that I was in the first place. So I don't have much faith in them anymore. Something that I've been taking is probiotics, very strong probiotics. Okay, because I have food allergies that affect my skin, and it's probiotics help with the digestive system, which is where allergies tend to originate. So get a strong probiotic, take that regularly. That's it. For me, it's been almost as good as an antihistamine, really. It's that good. Also a burdock root tincture. I have the alcoholic version of it, which tastes awful, but it helps with any sort of redness and flakiness on the skin, which I do sometimes still get if I'm very stressed or I've been naughty and I've eaten something that I know I shouldn't have. And that's more or less it. Eat healthily as you can, but don't stress yourself out over it. Okay, I mean, I gained quite a lot of weight during TSW because I was just eating whatever I wanted, because to me food is a big comfort. So don't stress yourself out over it, but do try and stay as healthy as you can. Also, like I say, minimize stress. I pretty much just zoned out for an entire year. I didn't go outside. I didn't leave the house for 9 months. Okay, that's not an option for everybody, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily healthy, but that's how I was feeling at the time. I was very depressed. I didn't want to go out. I was tired. I looked to state, and I just, my way of dealing with it was by shutting myself away. And thankfully I had my mum, who was my full-time carer and my guardian angel for the entire period to look after me, cooking for me and cleaning and waking me up and, you know, comforting me when I was sad. And, you know, just by the grace of God, I've had a really amazing support network, and the ability also to take a year away from university, which I didn't want to do, but I knew I had to, because I was just in no state to be going to, you know, lectures and stressing myself out with studying at the time. So I understand that, you know, that's not an option for everybody. Not everyone can take that sort of, you know, sabbatical or hiatus from work or family life if you have children. But if you can, I would personally recommend it. You know, some people prefer to remain active during topical steroid withdrawal, but for me, I was just so tired and so depressed that, you know, I just needed to be comfortable. I just needed to be as you know, happy as I could, I suppose, in the circumstances. So yeah, now I'm at 15 months. For the past 3 months I've had a full-time job, and I haven't had one single day off because of my skin, which has been sort of an unthinkable thing for the past 6 or 7 years, you know, while I've been dealing with my eczema and such. I've never been able to have a full-time job, and I'm 23 years old, which is, you know, that was just, it was quite depressing. Also, I'm back at university. This is not my mum's house, this is my flat at university. It starts on Monday, so I'll be going to my lectures again and finishing my final year at university, thank God. And you know, I'm really happy again. I'm really happy again, thank God. You know, I do have to give thanks to God for getting me through this, because, you know, I couldn't have done it off my own back, you know, through my own strength. It was a very hard time, and I really respect anybody who's been brave enough to make this decision, to go through this pain now, to have a happier, healthier life afterwards. It truly is worth it. It was hard, but it was worth it, okay? So I will leave you with that. Just again, I just wanted to quickly say thank you to my mum, to my friends, to my sister, my dad, and most of all to God for helping me get through this. And please do email me, even if it's just to you know, vent, just to have a rant about how you're feeling. I'm more than happy to listen, okay? So I'll leave my email address, and thank you so much for watching.